Hello everyone, my name is Sobit and today our topic is the conducting system of heart. How the wave of contraction or depolarization start over the atria, spread over the atria or ventricle and pass through or spread throughout the heart. So in order to understand the clear concept of conducting system of heart, we need to know what vector is. In school level or in the college level, we studied that vector is anything that has both magnitude and direction. Magnitude means the value and direction means where it is going. So, in the same way, there is the vectorical representation of the heart. The conducting system of heart has the vectorical representation. So, if I took a kind of biopsy of our muscle, cardiac muscle exactly, then if I connect this with a galvanometer, and to say that galvanometer actually detects the current, not measure. Galvanometer never measures the current, it always detects either there is current, either there is any flow of current or not. So we already know that depolarization means to introduce the cations into the cardiac muscle, isn't it? So if I introduce a kind of cation over the cardiac muscle, we already know that it is always electropositive in the beginning, minus 90 millivolt. We already know that the cardiac muscle is always electronegative. So if I introduce the cations here, it will obviously spread over here and it will replace it. So the positive ion will replace the negative ions, and in the same way it will go towards the positive side or the positive terminal. So here the direction of the vector is towards the positive side, that means it is vector positive. In the same way, there is the vectorical representation of heart, the cardiac impulse, how it gets transmitted. So, after the vectorical concept is clear, let me tell you about some kind of muscles or the specialized connective tissue in the heart that works as a conducting system. So, it is heart. What it is? It's the heart. There are so many muscles inside the cardiac muscle, so many cells, that is cardiac cells inside the heart, and these are the ventricles. These two are atria, these two are ventricles, and this is intraventricular septum, intraatrial septum, atrioventricular septum or the fibrous septum. This is fibrous annulus. This is fibrous annulus. So here is the two opening of superior vena cava and the inferior vena cava. Just between the entry of the superior and the inferior vena cava, there is the placement of the specialized connective tissue which is known as SA node, sinoatrial node, which is also called natural pacemaker of heart. We already know that there are so many cells inside the heart, that is myocardial cells. When the wave of contraction is generated in the sinoatrial node, it will pass throughout the cells, from its cell membrane, and it will not go towards the other side, it will go towards the specialized myocardial connective tissue, that is AV node. AV node. Why it is not going from the fibrous annulus? Because fibrous annulus is so delicate that it gets damaged when the wave of impulse strike over the surface of the fibrous annulus. So it will go towards the atrioventricular node, AV node. So when the wave of contraction passes throughout the atria, the wave of contraction is generated here, As a result, the blood will flow from here. But when the wave of contraction strike over the AV node, it will consume or take some kind of impulse, so it will delay the impulse, which is also called AV nodal delay, which is approximately 0.10 seconds. So I already told you that there is a delay of the impulse. Why this delay is necessary? Because when there will be the delay, there will be time for atrial contraction, and there will also be the time for ventricular filling. So this AV nodal delay is necessary. Now, from the AV node, the wave of impulse will go towards the bundle of His. And the bundle of His are divided into two parts: right bundle of His and the left bundle of His. And there are so many Purkinje cells that spread over the septum or the thickness of the heart, of the ventricle, because the thickness of the left ventricle is more than that of the thickness of the right ventricle, because it has to pass the blood through the ascending aorta to whole part of the body, rather than the pulmonary trunk, because pulmonary trunk will pass the blood to the lungs, so it will not require so much energy or so much potential than that of the left ventricle. So the main point is, when the impulse passed to the AV node, it will go towards the right and left bundle of His. These are two right and left bundle of His. This is obviously left bundle of His, and this is right bundle of His. When it will get stimulated over the bundle of His, it will go towards the Purkinje cells, and these Purkinje cells are so specialized that the Purkinje cells are so fast conducting than that of the AV node, because these cells are so specialized than that of the AV node that the wave of contraction will be generated, because it has to pass the blood from the ventricle to all part of the body, because it needs more energy than that of the AV node. So why the AV node is slow conducting and why the Purkinje cells is fast conducting? Let me describe that. So I can describe it here. Let me draw AV node here, and let me draw Purkinje cells here. These are the Purkinje cells, and this is the AV node. And so the AV node has the specialized type of the cells that are so close together and so numerous in number. There are so many cells, so numerous in number, with intact cell membrane, nucleus, and these cells are packed together so closely. So when the wave of contraction originates here from the sodium, always we have to know that in the AV node, I'm really sorry, in the AV node, the wave of contraction is generated by the calcium, but in case of the Purkinje cells, the wave of contraction is always generated by the sodium. And we already know that the calcium channels are present there, but it is not open throughout the time. It is for some interval of time only the calcium channel are opened, but the sodium channel are opened throughout the depolarization or the axial potential time. But calcium channel are open for the transitional period of the time. So because of this calcium, it will not get the chance for depolarization. The fast depolarization will not occur, and the cells are packed together so fast that it has to pass through so many cells. The waves should pass through so many cells rather than passing through it has large cell, but there is no any cell membrane disturbances. Here are so many cell membrane disturbances, so the time will take longer in case of the AV node. Because of that, AV nodal delay occurs. And the next thing is the window or the electrical window or the gap junction present in between the AV cells are less in number than that of the Purkinje cells. There are so many electrical window. Through this window, the wave of depolarization passes from the one cell to another cell to another cell. But there is only one electrical window, so it will take the less time than that of the Purkinje cells. And we already know that the AV node has electronegativity minus 60 millivolt, but Purkinje cells has minus 90 millivolt. So where the cations are attracted towards? Obviously towards the more electronegative side. As a result, the wave of depolarization will generate faster in case of minus 90 millivolt. It is more negative, so it will attract more positive cations. As a result, the depolarization will occur fast in case of the Purkinje cells rather than that of the AV cells or the AV nodal cells. So we studied that the conducting system of heart today. We studied about sinoatrial node, we studied about AV node, why AV nodal delay is necessary, how much the AV nodal delay time is, and the difference between AV node and the Purkinje cells, why AV nodal delay is slow conducting, why AV node is slow conducting, why Purkinje cells are slow conducting. So this is everything maybe about the conducting system of heart. This much is necessary to understand the clear concept of the conducting system of heart. Thank you very much.